Welcome back to the Hair of the Dog podcast. I'm Nicole Begley, and today is episode 49, Making 2021 Your Best Year Yet, no matter what's in store, with our guest, Heather Lahtinen. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Hair of the Dog podcast. If you're a pet photographer ready to make more money and start living a life by your design, you've come to the right place. And now, your host, pet photographer, travel addict, chocolate martini connoisseur, Nicole Begley.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope that you joined us last week for how looking back helps us look forward, because we did some retrospective questions. I think that's the right word. Anyway, we looked back on 2020. And again, I know you guys are like ready to turn that page, but it was such an important thing to do every year, to look back and reflect on where we've been, what lessons we've learned, and what we want to take with us and not take with us into the new year. So if you did not listen to that episode, go check it out now, hairofthedogacademy.com/48 before you listen to this week. And we're going to get started here in just a minute with making 2021 your best year yet, no matter what's in store. But before we do that, just wanted to let you guys know that the Hair of the Dog Academy is going to be opening its doors for enrollment on this Thursday, January 21st, 2021, through the following Thursday, January 28th, 2021. So if you have been thinking about wanting to improve your pet photography craft or get started with a business of pet photography, that is the membership for you. Not only do we have a ton of incredible content and lots of guest instructors, we also have a ton of incredible support from myself, other coaches. We have Charlotte Reeves in the Academy that assists with craft-related critique corners and helps with the technical aspects of the craft. So you definitely want to check that out. You can go to www.hairofthedogacademy.com/academy to enroll on Thursday, and we would love to have you there. But enough about that. Let's get on with the interview. Hey everybody, Nicole here from Hair of the Dog, and welcome back. If you were listening last week, you know that this week is part 2 with our editing and mindset ninja, Heather Lahtinen, right here from the Flourish Academy, and our Hair of the Dog and Elevate coach. Welcome back, Heather.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. This is the second part in the series. And might I add, if you did not listen to the previous episode yet, please go do so and work through those exercises. In fact, you are not permitted to continue listening until you have that completed.
Time out. You must pause and come back if you have not done that. Agree 100%, because today's goal setting is only going to be as effective as you prepare it to be. And through last week's questions, there's only 5 of them. I know we rambled on for like 45 minutes or so, but there's only 5 questions. So at least go to hairofthedogacademy.com/48, print out that sheet. You can also print at hairofthedogacademy.com/49. I'll put the same sheet on both weeks. It has the pre-questions and the post-questions. Answer those questions. And by listening to episode 48, you're going to get more context for the question. So I definitely recommend that. And then come back here and we'll dive into this week, which is looking ahead, which is, Heather, I don't know, one of my favorite things to do, because I always seem to have 8,000 plans going on in my head.
Yeah, I'm a future planner. In fact, you know what? I learned this as a very, very young adult based on my childhood. I forget if I took a personality quiz or something, but it said that you can determine how a person looks at the future by how they eat their ice cream cone. So when I was a kid, if I got an ice cream cone, think with hard packed ice cream, like hard scooped ice cream, right? Not soft serve. I would be eating my ice cream, and what I would do is as I got close, I would start to push the ice cream down into the cone, right? Did you do that? Yeah. Okay. Why did you do that?
Well, because I didn't want to have cone left at the end without ice cream.
Right. You didn't want to have a cone without ice cream, which tells me that you are always thinking about the future, even if the future is 10 seconds away.
Well, Heather, I got to say, ice cream is my love language, so
Me too. So I learned this about myself as a child and then as an adult. Obviously, I love planning the future. Do you know why? Because the possibilities are endless. You can make it anything you want. I don't get discouraged if I hit it or I don't hit it. It's just, to me, it's very exciting to dream, is it not?
It is. But I'm sorry, I'm just still focused on what kind of animal wouldn't push their ice cream down in their cone.
Listen, I bet you there are people.
Of cone.
Yeah, there are people listening who did not push their ice cream down.
And those you guys, I'm sorry, you're not an animal. I just can't comprehend having a whole bunch of cone left without ice cream. So if you are out there and you eat your ice cream without pushing it down, send me a DM. Let me know. Why you do it that way. And maybe you just really like the cone without the ice cream. And that's cool. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone. I'm just really curious. But anyway, back to goal setting.
Yeah, that is the funniest thing. Okay, so I'm always thinking about the future, and apparently you are as well. Again, even if it's only 10 seconds away. Okay, so in order to complete this exercise, much like last week, I recommend that you get yourself in a positive state of mind and in a place where you will not be interrupted. You're well rested, because listen, you guys, if you do this when you're irritated and you're grumpy and you're hungry, I mean, you're not going to set yourself up for the best year. So just use your brain on this one and make sure you're in a good place. Okay, my first question right in is, what do you want to be most thankful for 1 year from now?
Ooh, I love the way that is worded.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I would think, if you look back, you want to be grateful, right? I mean, in the previous exercise, we were talking about reflecting and, looking back, what am I grateful for? Well, what if I could future cast that? What if I could say, what is the one thing that I wanted to look back and say, wow, I'm so thankful that I did that, or that happened, or that I became that person. You can future pace your gratitude.
I love it. And I think a great way to get in that mindset would be to get in that nice quiet place that we're talking about. We're in a good frame of mind already, and just kind of closing our eyes and just fast forwarding, picturing that it's December 31st, 2021, and you are wherever you usually are in the last day of the year. You're getting up. What are you feeling? What's your life look like then? What's your day to day? What have you done in the past year? And what is the most amazing thing that happened in the past year that you're still just like, oh my gosh, pinch me. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, let me give you two really straightforward, simple examples. Like, for people, a lot of people want to work on their finances, right? They want to save more money, maybe pay off some debt. So you could ask yourself, what do I want my bank account to look like in a year? What do I want my debt to look like in a year? What do I want to be most thankful for regarding my finances in a year? So if you have a couple of debts that you'd like to pay off, that helps you focus on, well, what one would I be most thankful to get rid of? So I have a lot of friends currently who are battling their student loans, and if they just got those paid off, they would feel so much better. So that's one thing you can look at, finances. Another is your physical health. What do you want your body to look like in a year? What would you be thankful for if your body looked a certain way 1 year from now, that you would be so grateful that you took the time to work on your nutrition and your exercise, and now you feel good, you have more energy, you're well rested, you just overall general health. Those are two pretty easy examples, because those are two areas that most people need some help with, or would like to make some progress, I should say, right?
Yeah. And I think one thing that they can also help to make this more tangible, because it's one thing to just say, oh man, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to get in shape. Okay, well, what is getting in shape?
Right.
But to look at the why, why do you want to pay off that student loan? Why do you want to, lose weight? What? Because just paying off student loan, what's that do for you? So by coming up with that why, I feel like they're going to have some more motivation to then continue down this planning list.
Right. Because in the case of the student loan, if you were to ask somebody, well, why do you want to pay it off? They'd say, well, I don't have that payment. Well, okay, what would that do for you if you didn't have that payment? Well, I'd have more money. Well, what would you do with more money? Well, I'd pay off this other debt. Well, I would do this. Well, I would go on vacation. Well, I'd have more freedom. Right. That's what,
right.
So it's not
or security or whatever that value.
Yeah.
100%. There's always an underlying value that we are working towards when we want to do these things. So by keep asking, what will that give me? Why? You're eventually going to uncover that value that's driving you. And then if you say, oh, I want to pay off that debt so that I will have more security, okay, now you have this value tied to it and you're going to be way more motivated to continue on with the process and really the habit change that is going to have to be required to get to anything.
That it's going to take. Yeah, I really love this question. What do you want to be most thankful for 1 year from now? Okay. The
Oh,
next
I love
question.
it.
Yeah, I do too. I love the phrasing. The next question is, how will you know when you've had a breakthrough? What specific outcome or experience would make this evident? So this is taken from our mentor, James Wedmore. He asks us this question. Like, we all want to have this breakthrough in our business, and he's like, okay, that's great, but how will you know? How will you know when you've had that breakthrough? Because again, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it. So is there a specific outcome or experience that would make this evident? So I have a friend, speaking of the debt issue, who is working really diligently to pay off her student loans and some other debt. And she really wants to take her first family vacation. She is a young toddler, so they haven't been able to do that. And so for her, through with her debt, the outcome would be a family vacation.
I love it.
If they were able to take that family vacation, that would be a breakthrough for her.
That's fantastic. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I love it.
Pretty straightforward. The next one is listen, we could all list a million things here. What habits will you adopt this year? So, okay, listen, I actually, when I first typed this question, I wrote, what habits do you want to adopt this year? And then I deleted it to say, what habits adopt this year? I put it in more of the positive present tense. So do you have any that you want to shift, Nicole?
Well, yeah, before I get to that, I imagine these habits, should you be looking at what you just answered before with what you want to be thankful for and how do you know when you've had that breakthrough, and then asking yourself, okay, what habits do I need to instill to have that breakthrough year? So for me, I did my planning when I was in Florida, and some of the habits that I need to instill, I broke them down into quarterly habits, monthly habits, weekly habits, and daily habits.
Wow, you're an overachiever.
Sometimes I am. But it's just like basic things. So like, quarterly, it's having a team meeting with my team. Monthly, it's meeting with my Facebook ads person or planning a promotion. Weekly, it is doing a business metric review, having individual meetings with my team members. And daily, it is connection. So visibility is my word of the year. So to make a connection, whether it's one of my Elevate or the Academy or doing a live, like no just sitting on my computer and doing work. I must make a connection a day, at least one. Meditate daily and practice my Italian.
Wow, those are fantastic habits. And good for you for breaking them down from their bigger components into the daily, because you need to, what that did was that just connected you with the end goal, like the game, like this is what I want to achieve. So I'm going to work my way backwards in order to get there. So like with the finances, if you want to pay off a certain number, well, then obviously you have to break that down. How much extra would I have to pay per month, per week? What would I have to save? What would that look like? And break it down. I think that's fantastic. When I was thinking about this question, I have to be honest, I'm actually still struggling with this because in the past couple of years, I went through the Miracle Morning with Hal Elrod, which I love. I also read Atomic Habits with James Clear. Years ago, I read Smarter, Faster, Better with Charles Duhigg, who also wrote The Power of Habits. So I have been diligently working on my habits for the past several years, and I'm doing really well. I just have to figure out what habits. I think I need to focus on my business like you just did with your business, because when I looked at this question, I was thinking about exercising and eating and reading and meditating and journaling and all of those types of things, but I didn't really apply a habit to my business. So you just gave me some insight. Thank you.
Yeah, you need to look at your business goals for the year and figure out, all right, what do I need to do daily, weekly, and monthly to make that happen?
Right.
So for all of you pet photographers out there that have some sort of pet photography business component to your breakthrough year, to what you want to be thankful for, whether it's $50,000 in sales or $100,000 in sales or $500,000 in sales, I want you to ask yourself, what do you need to be doing? What habits? Of course, exercise and eating right. Those are very worthwhile habits. If we don't have our health, we don't have anything. But if you want a business related outcome, What habits do you need to adopt to hit that? So is it doing a promotion every month? Is it following up with leads? Is it reaching out to a potential partner once a week? Is it, like sending out an email newsletter every month? What step-by-step pieces that lead to leads and sales do you need to do every week, day, month, quarter? And if you figure that out, it's going to be a lot easier to do it. And then you're going to be well on your way.
I think that is extremely solid advice. I think I'm going to take it. I think I'm going to revisit this through a different lens. I think I was only looking at it personally, which is bizarre because I love my business and I look at everything through my business lens. So I'm surprised that I kind of overlooked that. I was just thinking of my personal habits. But and by the way, congratulations to you. I know your word is visibility and you wanted to make a connection. And I saw that you did an Instagram video today. So good for you. You are making yourself visible by putting yourself out there, and you knew to do it because it's on your list of things to do.
Yep.
Right?
Sure
That's
did.
the key.
Yeah.
That's
If you guys aren't following Hair of the Dog Academy on Instagram, definitely do it. And then you can also go to Nicole Begley Photography if you want more cute pictures of my horse, because
who wouldn't? Yeah. Okay. The next question is, who do you want to be? What type of person? And I'm going to work this in a couple of different ways, because you also, this is from Jim Fortin, who do you need to be to achieve what you want to achieve? Like, what type of person would reach this goal of 6 figures in their photography business? What type of person would that be? What habits would they have, and who would they have to be? Who would they have to become? So you're starting to look for personality, characteristics, traits, actions that you take in your business that would get you to the next level. You see people that are already doing it. What do you have to be? So for example, if you want to be more visible, you have to take action, but you have to be more conscious of when you're going to do that. You have to plan it, right? For some people, this means they have to be a little more brave and maybe courageous. Now, this might not apply to you, Nicole, but a lot of people really, really fear video or putting themselves on any type of social media. But if they want to promote their business, which their business is an extension of who they are, and people buy people, not things, then they're going to need to do this to reach more people, to connect. And they might have a lot of fear around that. Well, okay, what type of person does that? Well, somebody that's brave, right? Somebody that's courageous, somebody that's focused, somebody that has their eyes fixed on an end game. So who do you want to be? What characteristics do you want to cultivate? And what type of person is where I want to be? Right?
Yes. And one other thing, the person that you could be for that type of situation, I know for me, it wasn't necessarily a fear. It was just a laziness, because it's more comfortable to work on my projects. And quite frankly, I don't shower every day, and often I shower at the end of the day because I'm going to the barn anyway in the afternoon. So why would I shower in the morning when I'm going to shower later on? So I'm like, I use that as an excuse. So anyway, so you guys might see me with my hair up in a ponytail, or like right now, there's lots of gray in my hair because it's getting colored tomorrow. But anyway, one of the other ways to look at that too is who you'd want to be. You want to be of service. You cannot serve anyone in your business if you don't show up. One of the reasons I do this, it's to help all of you guys. And one of the ways that I just get so fulfilled is hearing stories and ways that, the Hair of the Dog has impacted some of the people that follow this business. And Heather, I know it's the same for you too. So by looking at it as, I am someone who serves my audience, you have to do that by showing up. So that's just another way to look at that. And one other thing I wanted to throw in there too, like for those of you listening, you're like, oh, wait, I'm not in business. I just want to improve my pet photography craft. All right, great. What would a world-class photographer, who would they be, whether they're getting paid for it or not? Would they be shooting and practicing and getting model calls and trying new things and not worrying about if it's going to fall flat on its face or if it's going to look good or not, and just testing new things and learning? And so no matter what your goals are, there are ways of being that you can adopt and try to emulate and try to be that person. You can put a little Post-it note on your computer and just say, I am here to serve. I am visible. I am brave. I am committed. I am whatever, fill in the blank. And then again, you're going to see that every day. We talked about the subconscious last week. You're going to see it every day. You're going to internalize it and you're going to start acting differently.
Yeah. And then you're going to become it. You're going to internalize it and then you are going to become it. And that is the type of person you want to be. So don't just wish and hope that you could be better. Make it happen. And you can. Okay, great. The last question is, what is your most positive thought right now?
Oh.
Now, the reason I did this, a couple of reasons. I obviously want people to focus on what's positive and what's good and being grateful. But as we step into setting our actual goals, I really want you to be in a positive frame of mind. And I want you to work from unlimited possibility, not your current circumstance. Everybody works from what they can see, their current circumstances. But high performers, high achievers, people that accomplish amazing things work from unlimited possibility. So, and the way we can get our mind in that frame is to ask yourself, what is the most positive thought I have right now? I am extremely hopeful. And I really believe that everything is working out in our favor, for us. So I'm excited about everything. I get excited. I try to look at everything through the positive frame, right? So this is not difficult. Okay, sometimes it is difficult for me to do. Sometimes when my kids are getting on my nerves, I'm not going to lie, but when I'm at my desk and I'm working, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that we have and that we can create anything we want. So take a moment to just, look off in the distance and ask yourself, what is my most positive thought right now?
I love that. And I think this could be an incredible way to train your mind if you ask yourself that every night before you went to bed.
Woo, good one. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think you'd recognize who you were next year if you got the habit of asking this question every day.
What is my most positive thought right now? Can you imagine falling asleep with that on your mind?
Yeah.
Instead of your murder Netflix. What are these real life murder family shows on Netflix? I don't know. I don't watch that stuff, although I do find it really intriguing. I do. But I don't watch it because that gets in your brain and then that's what you're thinking about. No, I'm going to think about my most positive thought.
Yes. Those are awesome questions. Remember, guys, you can download at hairofthedogacademy.com/48 or hairofthedogacademy.com/49, which is this episode show notes. Download that just like basically cheat sheet that has these 5 questions and last week's 5 questions to ask yourselves. And then after we've asked these questions, Heather, now is the time to finally set our goals.
Yeah. So the final component of this is actually setting your goals. So what I would like you to do is set 7 to 10 overall goals in the following categories of your life. There's career and business. There's your spiritual, your family or relational, personal hobbies, health, and financial. So those are the high level categories. You want 7 to 10 total, not in each category. That's crazy. And I recommend setting these goals on based on the 12-week year. This is a book by Brian Moran. He sets everything in 12-week increments. So rather than giving yourself an entire year to hit these 7 to 10 goals, you set 7 to 10 goals for the next 12 weeks. Why? Well, there's just a ton of evidence that if you set a goal, let's say you set 10 goals and they're all due December 31st. Well, guess what? You're going to get really busy on December 1st trying to get all your goals accomplished, and none of them might get done because you've just given yourself too much time, so you need to bring those in a little bit. So you actually need to go through this particular component of the process every 12 weeks. So you just frame your goals. First, you select a category, what's important, and then you state the goal in such a way that there's this framework called SMART goals. It's very popular. It's probably the most popular framework, so you may have heard of it. There are a couple other frameworks that are really helpful. I find this one to be the most straightforward. It's an acronym. The goal must be, so SMART, S, specific. It must be measurable, because how will you know if you've hit it? It has to be actionable, meaning there are actions you can actually take to get it done. R is for realistic, and T is for time bound. So I said the 12-week year. That doesn't mean all your goals are for those 12 weeks, right? You can pick one of your goals. It's like, I need to have that done next week or within this month. So it's not that they're all, within 12 weeks. So time bound is like, I will have this done by X date. And it has to be very specific and measurable, or how else will you know when you've hit it?
Yeah, quick question for you about figuring out which of those 7 to 10 goals. Is there a way that we could kind of take stock of how satisfied we are in our life from those different areas?
Yes.
That we can, so that way we can be like, oh man, like these are all really high, but I wish I had more,
Yes, actually. Okay, so within the 6 categories of goals, before you start writing your goals, look at each of these categories. And from a scale of 1 to 10, you cannot use 5, because you'll put 5 and that's just such a cop out. From 1 to 10, where are you at in satisfaction with that area of your life? So those are career, 1 to 10. Where are you at? Spiritual, family, relational, personal hobbies, health, and financial. Each of those areas, write those down from 1 to 10. Where are you at on a scale? Okay. And don't put 10 for anything, okay? Because the truth is there's always room to grow, right? You can't use 5. So what you do is you write those down and you look at them on paper. Anything that is 4 and lower needs your attention pretty quickly, right?
Yep.
Okay. And it's not that we're neglecting the other areas. It's just that these areas are clearly the ones that are pressing on us the most. What we're looking for is what I call, everybody calls it this, a domino goal. And it's the one goal that if you pushed it over, all of the rest would fall so much easier. It's push goal.
Right. And, if there's an area of our life that you're like, say relationship is a 2, and there is no way you're actually going to be able to focus on these other areas, because there are some areas of our life where financials a 2. You're going to be so stressed out about that particular actual life need that you can't focus on, I'm going to move my career from a 6 to an 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not possible. Actually, Donald Miller said you are only as successful as your most important relationship. So if that's your spouse, if you're married, it could be a friend, it could be a sibling, or maybe your parents. If your most important relationship has an issue or is struggling or is less than a 4 on that scale, it requires your attention today. Because you are only as successful as your most important relationship. And shortly behind that are finances, like you just described.
Yep.
So those 2 things, if they're low on your scale, those are where you need to put more of your attention. Again, that's not neglecting anything else, but how can you, like you said, how can you be expected to say perfect your tennis game? I don't know. if your finances and your marriage is a mess, right? You just, your brain just won't be there.
I would imagine health is another one too, because
health is up there with finances. Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So now we know where to focus. Okay. And we talked about what those goals look like with the SMART: specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound.
That's right.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to write those down. I have a little bone to pick with the SMART goal.
Is that right?
I sure do.
Okay.
I sure do. And that is the R for realistic.
Of course, that should not come as a surprise to me.
So, here's my thing. And I totally get it. And it actually does make sense because, we've talked about this before, that your goals do have to be believable, but who's to define what realistic is? Anything is possible at any time. I work from the premise that truly anything is possible. So I could choose to take my photography business from 0 to 500,000 in a year. Do a lot of people do it? No. Is it impossible? I don't think it's impossible. I think it is challenging. I think if you make that goal, but you don't 100% fully believe it's possible, then there's no way that you would ever possibly hit it. So you have to believe that your goal is possible for you. So maybe that is looking for other instances where someone has accomplished that or someone is doing that. That's like that 4-minute mile, for however many years. no one could break the 4-minute mile, and then one runner did, and then like 10 more people did like the next month. I don't know. I'm making up the time frame, but you get the idea. So yeah, so that's my challenge with realistic, because here's another little food for thought for a sneak peek into Nicole's life is I don't think I've actually hit any of my goals in several years.
And that's because?
That's because they're a bit of a stretch.
They're over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that I'm getting further along by having those stretch goals than a safe goal that I know I can hit. But here's the thing. People choose, well, Heather, you could take it. Why do people choose the safe goal?
Here's the difference between you and most people is you are not defined by what someone classifies defeat. So you set the goal really, really high. It doesn't bother you if you don't hit it. You say, well, at least I've got this far, right? Or I'm able to do these things. But most people cannot take that level of defeat. It's just too disheartening.
Yeah, they bring meaning to it, right? And they label themselves as, oh, I failed.
Yeah. And they set it low so they can hit it.
Right.
So that, I mean, have you ever done this? I'm guilty as charged. Have you ever written something down on your to-do list that you've already completed just so you can cross 100%, it off?
100%. That is completely not the same.
I'll tell you why it's similar. It's a mood enhancer. Yes, your to-do list just became a mood enhancer. Some people look at their goals that way, and they just cannot take the defeat. So they're not willing to face it. So they play it really, really safe, and they keep themselves very small because they would rather hit it than aim really high and feel defeated. So in your case, you're like, oh man, I'm going to set this like so off the charts. And if I don't hit it, so what? You don't let it define you. But you've also been working for the past several years on your emotional mastery, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you really have. Right. So it doesn't define you. You don't assign it a story. You don't make it mean anything about you. You just say, oh, look, I'll do it again. Or maybe I didn't set it high enough. I'll just go higher, where it would be depressing to someone else.
That's 100% true, because there was, I'm not a superhuman. There was certainly times where I would set a goal and miss it, and I would be all mopey and sad and be like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't as successful as I thought. Maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. You guys know the drill. All those things start coming through your head. So please hear me that I'm not saying that this never happens to me anymore, because it still can. And then I just have to, like, again, that awareness that we talked about. I'm like, oh, this is not productive. Psh, turn it off. This goal means nothing except what I choose to make it mean. So it just becomes practicing that awareness and always asking yourself, what meaning am I assigning here? Or here's the key that I think helps me figure out when I'm starting to tell myself a story like this is I look at when I'm feeling bad, when I'm just feeling not good, when I'm feeling out of alignment, and I'm just like, I just feel, like there's no other word other than, and then I ask myself, okay, what am I saying? What am I thinking to myself right now that's causing me to feel, and usually it's because I've assigned meaning to something, or I'm stressing about something that's already happened that I can't change, or I'm worried about something that could happen in the future, but has not yet happened. So I bring my attention back to the present, and I stop myself from saying, all right, that story, me not hitting this goal does not mean I'm a failure. It just means I earned X amount of money instead of X amount of money, or whatever. I have 4 new clients instead of 10 new clients. I have 4 new clients. Like, focus on the good on that. And so that's
you've worked really hard to look at factually what happens rather than assigning a meaning to it. So like you said, you gained 4 clients, you didn't gain 10. Like those are the facts. Where a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a loser. I'm a failure. My marketing didn't work.
I only got 4 clients.
I
have 4 new clients.
So that's what prevents them from setting these goals. So this R with this realistic, I can see this, especially for you. I think it depends on your personality type, and you alluded to this. It also plays into the law of believability, which is a very real thing. If you don't believe it's possible for you, it will never happen. So I think some people need to set a realistic goal that they actually can believe will happen. Other people, like yourself, and I believe you to be somewhat of an outlier, truly, because you've been working on it. Some people can set a goal that's so far out of the water, it can fall outside of the law of believability because you believe in unlimited potential.
So even believing in that, I still find myself sometimes where it's like, oh, I'm setting this big goal, but I can hear my conscious brain in the back of me saying, you're not going to hit that goal.
Right.
Like I can already hear my self-doubt kicking in sometimes when I do that. And then it's like, oh, do I lower it? Do I not? Do I just tell it to shut up? Like you become this whole conversation with yourself.
Right. But okay, the key is there. You have awareness.
Right.
So step one, get the awareness that's popping up for you that, oh, you're never going to do that. That's not realistic. Make sure it's realistic. I think, the other ones like specific, measurable, time bound, actionable, that's fine. I think this one can get tricky for people because they can trick themselves into thinking, either playing small or is that realistic or what is realistic or what's even possible for me. So I think for most people, they probably need to push themselves a little bit beyond realistic because chances are they're undersetting it. They're not, okay, in your case, you're oversetting it, but chances are most people are undersetting it because they want to make sure that they can hit it so that they feel better about themselves. Well, what if you could feel better about yourself another way, or just because you are you and you are deserving and you don't need to get your self-worth from whether or not you hit that goal. If you can separate those two things, you become incredibly powerful and in control of your future, because then this realistic is just out the window. It's just like, I'm going to set it and I'm going to do whatever. And law of believability, who cares? I know that this is possible. People can do it. I'm going to do it. So you and I as coaches walk this fine line with somebody who might come to us and say, I earned a couple $100s this year in photography, just kind of on the side for fun, but I'd like to turn this into a business and I'd like to make $500,000 next year. Right. There is part of me that wants to say to that person, you're awesome. Go for it. Make it happen. I support you. We are here for you. And then there's another part that's like, okay, are we being realistic? Is that within the law of believability? And I would never want to, minimize anybody's dream. So I hesitate to even say anything there, because maybe that person is like you, maybe they're not attached to it.
Yeah, no, I think that's the hard part is I try to start to have a conversation with them to gauge that attachment to it and be like, and basically tell them, listen, this is an awesome dream, but I believe it can be done. Is it going to be easy? No, but it is possible, but you can't let it define you.
Right.
Because if by having this outlandish dream, they are going to be hard on themselves, be depressed about the fact that they didn't get it, consider it a failure, tell themselves they're not cut out for this, tell themselves they're never going to be successful because they didn't hit this really hard to reach dream, not impossible, just hard to reach metric. We just have to make sure that everyone has the right expectations there.
I think it's the mindset. I think it's what you assign to it. Are you giving it an interpretation? If we can get you into this habit of saying, this does not define me and I'm not a loser if I don't hit it, then I would encourage you to set as many outlandish goals as you can. Just go for it. Why not?
And then all you have to do is go back to episode 48 and ask yourself, what lesson did I learn from this goal?
Right. Either you get the results that you wanted or the lessons that you needed.
Yeah,
That's what James Wedmore always says to us. Yes. And it's so true. So why not just aim for anything? If you can separate yourself from like, I'm not going to make this mean anything about me. But if you're going to get so attached to your goal that, if you don't hit it, you're the worst person on the planet, please remember that there are no goal setting police. So if you don't hit your goal, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, truly. Okay, you didn't hit it. It might be, okay, it's okay to feel a little disappointed. I think that's fair. But nobody's going to come knocking on your door and cart you off to jail because you set goals that were not realistic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And if your goal was, I want to earn $100,000 in my photography business this year, and you got to 97,000, are you going to say, oh, I missed my goal?
Really? Seriously? Right.
Yeah.
Right. That actually happened to me one year. I had this, literally, I wanted to hit 6 figures and I hit 97,000. I'm not even kidding you. That was the number. And it was like, December 28th or 29th. And I'm like, is there a way I could collect $3,000 to hit that 6 figures? And I didn't do it. But do you think for a second that I was disappointed? that I hit
Right.
97? Of course
And
not.
that was all ego coming in to be like, no, get that 3,000,
Right,
get that 3,000, because you just wanted to say, I did it.
Right.
Which
Right.
you, at that point, 100% deserve to celebrate that you did it, because you did. 3,000, give or take. 3% off your goal is not bad.
Well, and the point is, if you, what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on, oh, I need 3,000, I need 3,000? Or are you going to focus on, I have 97,000? I mean, that's stupid, right? It's stupid.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. So so to recap here, we have our 5 questions. We have, what do you want to be most thankful for 1 year from now? How will you know when you've had a breakthrough? What specific outcome or experience would make this evident? What habits will you adopt this year? Who do you want to be? What type of person? What is your most positive thought right now? And then take a quick stock of those different sections of your life. Just kind of write down 1 to 10, where, not 5, of where you are feeling those different areas of your life. And if there's anything lower, maybe you need to make some goals in that area. And make what did you say, 7 to 10 goals for the next 90 days?
Yeah, 7 to 10 goals for the next 12 weeks.
I love it. So the end of March, come back here. Well, I mean, technically, and you guys don't, because I know this is something I'd tell myself, be like, well, right now it's January 19th, so I need to wait till April 1st to do my next round of goals. No, do it from now till April 19th. It doesn't matter. Your goals don't know if it's January 1st or January 22nd. Whatever.
Just do it.
Just start now.
Right. Good advice.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Is there anything else, Heather, goal related, success related, that you want to share? I mean, if people have taken the time, again, you guys, by you doing this, I mean, it's not going to affect the day to day for Heather or myself. The only person that is going to get the incredible benefit of doing these exercises is you. So please, please, please take the time to do them. Share them with us in our communities. We would love to support you. Share your wins. You guys celebrate your wins, even if it is a little tiny win. Like I mentioned last week, I learned to use my Instapot without fear of blowing up the house. Win.
And your house is still standing.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't have like steam or what did I make? Beef and broccoli stuck to the ceiling. We're good.
Right. You're set. Okay, yeah. I would say this. I would say goals push you forward. They hold you accountable. They help you measure progress. And without them, you would just become completely reactive to the world around you. So you just need to ask yourself, do I want to design my life or do I want society to do it for me? I also think that goals inform your action, what you do every day. They help you set priorities. They give you clarity on specific tasks that you need to complete. And they just help you achieve your dreams. They give you a defined path. They boost your morale. They give you focus. They improve your overall outlook on life. I mean, why would you not do that? And the truth is, you have more power than you think. Typically, the only thing that's missing is clarity. And you also have more resources than you can imagine. So it's not a lack of resources. I think it's time to just drop the excuses, create the life of your dreams, set your goals. End of story.
Yeah, and own it. And be just unapologetically excited to move forward with it, and just don't care what other people think about it. These are your goals, not theirs.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us. Heather, thank you for being here again with us. Of course, people can find you inside the Hair of the Dog Academy and as an Elevate coach, but where else can they find you out there on the interwebs?
Thank you for asking. They can find me at flourish.academy. That's our website. I also have a podcast. Just search for Flourish Academy on any podcast player that you listen to. You can also find those episodes on the website and on Facebook at Flourish Academy.
Awesome.
Definitely connect. I'd love to hear from you.
Excellent. Yeah. And let us know what those goals are you guys are going to decide to do. And make sure to tag us when you have your wins, because we love celebrating wins with other people so much. Thanks again for being with us, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody. If you are like most photographers, you may be thinking that taking gorgeous images is all you need to fill your calendar. Well, I've got some bad news. That's not the case. There are plenty of incredible artists out there that struggle to make consistent money in their business. And on the flip side, There are lots of photographers that produce average work that are killing it with full calendars and high sales. You see, successful photography businesses are just that, businesses. I'm Nicole Begley, creator of Hair of the Dog, and I believe every artist can make money doing what they truly love. So I help pet photographers maximize their potential by improving both their craft and their business. If you're ready to follow a proven path to success, join us inside Hair of the Dog Academy.